Alright guys, Big Tank here from Double South. So this tutorial, we want to talk about Sass. Not be Sass on the beat, not be where they road. Now CSS with superpowers now I want to discuss for inside this particular quick tutorial video. So the reason why I just come up with this video is because a majority of my tutorials will be like how could create for this channel, and the ones who I don't create past before, I think they use a lot of SCSS or Sass syntax and not the vanilla CSS like the way I did do initially, and I think it confused people a lot. So it's what I want to try to do for this quick tutorial video now to make sure so okay, I go explain the what they use Sass, what this Sass is all about, so that by the time I just start to create some of all these tutorials and you see and say you define them hard to understand what they do, if you just refer back to this particular video tutorial now what you record, so that you go bring yourself up to speed to understand Sass, and everything will be like say you could learn for the other design tutorial and everything will just gel well. So anyhow, I shall quickly I'm going to enter inside this particular tutorial. So firstly, why Sass to start with? Now not be say to the right or to the style our HTML markup with the vanilla CSS they bad. It's just that most times we like say we do some kind of advanced designs, it take time if you use a normal vanilla CSS, because you get to write a lot of stuff, you could repeat some certain things, and it's just it's not just the gel where you get. So if you start to use a preprocessor like Sass now, you go see and say you could be much more efficient in the way you write your style sheets, and you go feel they achieve some certain tasks now faster. So that's why we use Sass. So Sass actually now a preprocessor. What they do be say is syntax they different from the normal CSS what we know, but what they happen is when we don't write the syntax now, the Sass now it will compile itself now down to our normal vanilla CSS now, which is the default CSS where you originally know. Then that CSS now called run to design and style our HTML codes. So quickly I'm going to see how we go take install this Sass. Then we'll see how we start to use them sharp. So normally we use two different ways now to install Sass for our projects. Well, if you use VS Code, VS Code extensions don't make it very easy for you to use Sass for your project. But if say maybe you not use VS Code, you use another text editor where not get plugins, where if you just use the start to use Sass, you get to go install Sass now the traditional way. So what I'll first do I'll first install Sass using the VS Code extension. Then after that shown us okay it will work, they will start to install Sass now the traditional way, so that you not get the kind of project like you go create as far as you know how to install on that traditional way now, everything will work out fine for you. So to install Sass for your VS Code text editor, what you just do is just come this extensions tab here. So when you click on this extensions tab, what you need to type, you go search for live Sass. Right, you go search for live Sass. So this live Sass now yes, okay, now this one live Sass compiler, but this one already outdated. So now this one where they now like they not get this strike through. Now you go select. So when you click on now you go install them. Me myself I already installed them, so I don't need to install again. After you install and finish now, you can notice see the button here for your ID now you see wash Sass. So now this wash Sass now we'll go use take compile our Sass syntax now down to normal SCSS. Down to normal CSS, which is the vanilla CSS. So after you done installing, quickly what you could do, I already create an HTML document here, HTML file. Then I don't create my SCSS file. So before we start to write some SCSS, just to show you the work, I want to just explain something. Now this SCSS way this for here now, so actually the extension what would they use for Sass originally when Sass first come outside, and not be SCSS now would they use, or not being that they use now SASS, which is might just create something like this. Might say new file style.sass. So taking note of the two extension, SASS now be the first original one where they use. Then later on, as the thing they progress, they go now they call bring them back, they come bring them to SCSS. So now this one now suppose they consign us because now we would use majority of the time, but just to let you know, say something like this day. And the difference between these two, we say their syntax they different. Firstly, I go show now this major one what we could use now. I'm show now how the syntax be. Why after showing now, then we will see how they write this default, this first style of Sass. So inside this my main.scss, what I could do, if you just write your normal CSS code and the thing go compile, what if happen be say I feel just see okay, more change the body color now. So just type body, we'll put background color to be black, right? So we'll put on to black. So we'll turn the background color to black and we'll save. Normally, if you click the live server, go live, we're supposed to see the effect now, but the effect not come up yet because our HTML nobody read any style now. Where like say they change the background color. So what we need to do, we need to find a way to compile this main.scss file now down to CSS. Now where this wash Sass now, this compilation, this VS Code plugin now they come to play now. So when we click on this wash Sass, just see what you go happen. What you go happen be say it go create some files here for you. It create some files here for you, and it'll create this it'll create this main.css, and you see on our background.color, and based on say this style Sass DSF now, it does call create style.css for us, just in case we come here call write some Sass syntax code. So firstly now, if you look this main.scss now, this is our normal CSS, now our normal CSS code actually, but we go feel write some SCSS syntax for you where go compile down to the default way of writing CSS. So this main.scss now it compile down to this main.css. Now this main.css will work off inside our HTML file. So I go just duplicate this, then change the reset to main.css. Okay, so when we call the main.css now, I'll go back to my browser and you see I say everything they show black. Why? Because our HTML now already see the code that is at the main.css file, and this code now things will be like they compiled from this main.scss file now they enter here. So before we continue, I want to just show you the Sass syntax quickly and the difference between the Sass and the SCSS. So the difference between the two is say for this normal SCSS syntax here, all this way of writing our normal vanilla CSS or default CSS, whichever they call them, it they allowed, meaning if we use these our curly braces, if we use our semicolon and the rest. But the difference be say if you want to do the same thing for inside this Sass way of writing it now, we get this .scss extension. What you go do be say when you target the body you would use indentation to the tidy the styling you get. So I'll come down now, then I'll just say I want the background color to be red. You see then I'll compile. When I compile, it says it show success or button here now. So when I compile, more just change this main.css to style.css. And if you come and cover observe style.css and say let's see, I read to give yeah. When we come back now, you see and say it still compiled down to CSS for us. So that is just the difference between these two syntax, the Sass way of writing it and the SCSS way of writing it. So this SCSS like go accept newer way of writing Sass syntax than the way this one did, because now a very old version. So we're not using, so I'll just delete this file because we don't need them safe. But I want just let you know say something like that there and something like that they exist. So we'll delete them quickly and we'll delete the files here as well. So I just delete this, move to recycle bin, and delete this as well. What we need to delete main reset style. Okay, we delete this too. All right. So now what you see, say we defeat compile this thing to normal CSS now using this VS plugin or this VS Code plugin or extension. I want to show now the other way what we use to tidy the installation of Sass. So what I go do, no need to delete this thing. We'll just leave them here first. I go stop to wash. So when you click on it does stop to wash, right? So to install it, what you could do, if you use a package manager, take installer. So different package manager they out there. You get Brew, you get Yarn, you get NPM, and I go use NPM take do the installation here. So for you to be able to use NPM now to install Sass, you need to make sure say Node.js or Node server they installed for inside your system. So for my browser, I already create I already open the links down, but I'll just share the links of all these Node JS to the description of this particular video so that you quick get access to it. So if you come in and I just want you to download Node for your system, if you're Mac you're using on Windows or on Linux, just download Node and you install. I don't install them, so I need to download and install again now. So by the time you install them now, you can get access to NPM. And NPM now Node package manager. So this Node package manager and I get different packages now what if you use for your project where you create your front-end project, get different JavaScript packages, front-end, back-end, different things like that, where if you just use to create your stuff then. So the one web like so one install and a Sass. I already open up the page where you need it. So I can still share this link, but if say maybe you just come the website, all you need to do now is just search for the package. So if you just say Sass, when you search for Sass now, it will open up the Node Sass. I think the one we need should be this Sass. Yeah, now this one we need. So we need this Sass, not the Node Sass. We need this Sass. So what you go do now, just for you to just come here now, then you copy this code right there. So you click on it, I will show you say copy it to clipboard. Then you go back to your browser, sorry, your IDE or your VS Code text editor. What we need to do now, we first need to set up our project now to be able to install Node packages. So to set up the project now, we first initialize NPM. And to initialize NPM now, go type NPM init then -y. So when I type this inside the terminal here for my VS Code now, I'll click enter. So what's going to happen be say this what is this particular code do now, the code generates package.json for me. So this package.json file and the file I say they contain all the different packages that we would install to use inside our project. So inside it now we'll see create, you see add kind of commands now like would be very very important to our project. Like if we want to compile the Sass now here we'll say add the command now what we will use now take compile our Sass files you get. So the next thing we need to do is let's see quickly. We'll just come in and we'll paste. So I'll put command V. Sorry, not command V. My Windows are these. I use it type. I'll say Control V. NPM install Sass. So when you click on now, Sass go install. So Sass do install finish now. And what we need to do, we need to, for you to understand this, so you see and I show node modules, and if you click node modules folder now, you see the Sass folder here to tell us okay, we don't get Sass for our project now, if we use them. So we not even need this extension again. We just use this one, but it don't just work like that. For it to work, we need to write one script here now where we make the compiling work. And what we'll just do now, where you see this text now, so here, you click on them, you go replace them with Sass. It not necessarily means say now the Sass what I write for here now you go use. If you use anything, right? Because now this command now we go the call for inside our terminal. We're going to wash the Sass, the SCSS file now, so which is this main.sss file. That command going to wash this file now for any changes so we'll make now, so that I go compile them into this main.css. So now I'll type Sass, or sometimes if you follow my tutorials, you will see me say I don't do something like this for if you use wash Sass, or if you just say wash. It depends on how you want call them. But you need to take careful, because other commands for different type of packages now, maybe they use Vite or some kind of other things, that if you come here, where like say their script need to run too, and this their names, I need to make sure say the names not the like they're not the same, so that you know they conflicted. So it's if you just do now, instead of me to just say wash or just Sass, I just put wash Sass, so that if I need to wash another type of package, where like say go run something, now if you just say wash, then that package name you get. So now I realize how to do this thing. The colon there, it go there equals to, or I say the value could be Sass. So we'll call it Sass. So we'll say Sass, then we'll put -w for wash. Then we'll call specify the directory where be like say this file day. So we specify the directory or the location where this file day now. So because we'll need to call this file now for inside this package.json script here. So this file now is inside our CSS folder. So now I go type CSS, then I go put /, meaning I don't open the folder to enter inside the folder, and we'll locate main.scss. So now I will locate main.scss now. We still need to give this script another command now. And the command I want to give will be say, we don't locate the file where be like say SCSS syntax the day. But we need to still locate the file where be like say we want the compile this syntax into. And that file now, so now be the main.css. Very, very important. So what we'll do now, we'll just come in and we'll type CSS for the folder again. Then we'll target main.css. And one thing you need to understand is say, if say we never create this main.css before Sass, automatically, as far as in day like this, the moment you first run this command, it will create this folder automatically for you. In fact, so it will create this file automatically for you. So now we'll just delete them. I delete the file just to show and say, as I talk and I say the B, talking I do. All right. So what I could do here now, would already set up Sass. So I'll just come here, I'll type npm run, because we want to run this command now, wash Sass. So on run them now, you see I say Sass crash course compiled SCSS main.scss to CSS main.css, and automatically now I don't create this file again for me. If we click the file mode, see now, you see the happen now. The code will be like inside here, it does the show now for inside the main.css. And now say just be you don't set up SCSS, and if we start to write our SCSS codes now, they tidy our stuff, they go like that. Okay, so now I'll be like say we don't install SCSS. One of the first things where like say make SCSS or Sass very, very important and advantageous now, that the use of variables. Although CSS now they use variables quite alright, but most big projects and a lot of big projects you go do now, the kind of like say Sass go do for you, CSS not go, the vanilla way of writing CSS not go really do it for you. You get the speed and the efficiency where it give you. The vanilla way of writing CSS now, you know, give you that speed and efficiency. So to use the variables now, what we go do, if we come this place now, you know, say, or this our UI designer, so like say the sabi work where they sabi they get colors where they want to make with they use mono the carry the shower side they don't want it. So if you just give you a list of colors where they want me to use, if it's okay for my headings, I want this color to be this, for my this, I want this color to be this, for my that, I want this color to be that. So it might say you don't write a whole bunch of codes now for inside this your SCSS file now. You don't say you want the background color to be this type of black, you get, then You can say no, not even this time. You want the background color to be off-white, right? So now say off-white will be like EB off-white. Then you can say you want all your paragraphs now to, you want paragraph color to be like let's say maybe paragraph be red. You get. Then you don't write different codes, different places like that. You show the reference in red anytime you see paragraph. Then if tomorrow now the designer just sleep, wake up, God just run a vision, say, no, this red will not like this shade of red now. This other shade of red now it makes sense pass. You get. What you call do now? That work for you now because you call get to go the call this particular shade of red now, go the reference for all the places where you don't type the format red before. Now where variables now they come in handy, right? And SCSS are making it very easy for you to declare variable. Now if you just come in and you put this $, you type red. After that you go put colon, then you type the color of the red where you need. You see how? So I just type this one, I'll paste them here. Then after that do now, what I'm trying to do now, instead of me to call write this red like this for here, just instead of me to write this hex value now for this color red now, I just want me to call this color and paste now for here like this. You see, as in the variable name rather, then I paste now for this place. So it is that when we say everywhere what we call this red now for different parts of the project, as the files, the CSS codes, all plenty, all past 4,000 lines, they go different places what we call them. If we want to change this particular style of red now, what we just need to do now, just to go one single place where we reference them, what would it declare them? As we come this place now, we just, even though so maybe we want to change that to like maybe blue color now, you see how? Or purple safe. The moment we change them, every single place where carry this variable name now, automatically all of them will change now, and now this color now call the show for inside there. You get. So that are the advantages now of using variables now, and Sass now they give us that ability for us to use variables, and a very interesting thing, and it will save you a whole lot of time, and it will increase your speed now while you style some of this your sweet nice designs. All right, so that have a variable, because I just want to try to like explain this in sharp. Then maybe by the end of this video we'll just do a small design, not really advanced, maybe just a small pricing plan list or something, just to show you how to mark up some of all these things and how to style them with SCSS. Then see how to use all these variables and all the features let's say I talk now for inside that particular design. So quickly more right on. So we'll not talk about variables. And another thing let's say make SCSS, or maybe make, I don't know it's called like SCSS and Sass. Another to make what makes Sass they very nice now the use of nesting elements. Nesting elements means inside this particular elements where let's say we style now, which is P now. If another elements they inside there will be shade of the paragraph now, we'll fit nest them inside here and we'll style. What I mean? Now, if you look this our HTML now, nothing here now. We'll just create one div now. Just call the div now container. Then inside this container, this plugin I installed a very crazy stuff. By the way, this plugin where they bring this thing here, I don't forget the name self, but what thing they do be say you get the button, you get the keyword as I go type, what I go click. If I click on, I can just bring all these different characters here. So if say I want my cursor just come this AI direct, now I just click type AI from my keyboard, and automatically I go there and I just fast way and I go maybe they did something for my file and sharp. But yeah, sharp. Maybe I can find a name later, and if I feel embarrassed, I'll put up a description just to like introduce now to one cool extension of inside VS Code. So more coming back to here. So we'll create this container div, right? Inside this container div now, create let's see, in fact, more calling it block. So inside this block now, create a wrapper. Inside the wrapper now, we'll see row, right? Then inside the row now, we'll get columns. So this column now, what we want to do now, we want to create a heading tag now. So this heading tag now, we'll just say h2.title. So the markup just we'll just see with the markup blog post, right? Blog post is that picture. So h.title. We will be the title now. We'll just see the Sass way of doing things. Okay, so we'll come down, then we'll create another thing again. This thing now we'll create now, we'll just say we want create an anchor tag, right? So the anchor tag now, we'll give our class, and this class now, we'll call the class as author, so that whenever we click on this author name now, maybe it could carry us go another part of the website where we can see all the different posts. Let's say this particular author don't create. So this author now, I'm gonna just give which author? I'm gonna just say the big tank. Maybe the author. So the big tank. All right. So the date where I create this thing now. Span.date. Let's say, so this is now waiting. So you're not 8. 8 August. 8 August 2022. Okay. What we'll do here? We'll wrap these two things inside another div. So this div now we'll call the div. We'll just put content here. Or we'll just say details. Or group. Right? Then underneath we'll create a paragraph now. So this paragraph now called house the text web like we need. So I'll just put Lorem 24. Okay. So if we save and we'll go back to our HTML, see what we'll get here, right? We'll get these stuffs. So now I'm gonna try to mark up this thing and I'm gonna just put this whole stuff now for the middle here now just to make them look nice and interesting, and see the octane markup and for SS, because I believe most times some of these things that we need to learn by doing, right? I'll change this variable now from red now to, we'll say, in fact we'll use orange. So we want the author name now to be orange color, right? Orange. Maybe this kind of orange color. Then we want the blog post body now, which is that paragraph now. Maybe the color be, we'll just type primary. So primary could be black, but the black now will change the shade of the black to like maybe enter gray small. Something like this. Okay. Then waiting again. The title will still be black. This one will now orange. Maybe this one be gray, like maybe gray. Alright. So we need one more color. So just down, I'll type gray. So you see the way I create variables now, right? I'll type gray. So this gray now, just to get gray color back, the hex color, make the gray darker a bit. So I'll just bring this one down. All right. So now what I will do, I'll delete this. We will target the block. So inside this block now we'll get at the next one now. So inside the block now we'll get a wrapper. You see? Then we'll come down, we'll type row and column. So you see the cool thing about using SCSS now, or using Sass rather, we define the next elements now, inside elements now to style. If say now vanilla CSS now to write this in now, we won't do this stuff now. See what we'll do for come here now, we'll say block. We'll first target the block. Then we'll go come down, I will say inside the block now, we want target wrapper. Then I forget to one style inside wrapper. Then inside the wrapper now, if we just say okay, inside the wrapper, one target only one target the row. You see, although if you just target only wrapper, but imagine in scenario like say we get a whole lot of different blocks and we want this particular wrapper to be different from this particular wrapper, so kind small tweak like the padding for here, the margin for it is different now. You see, at the end of the day now we seem to call the appearance now, then before we call the reference now, you get. But in the case of in the case of Sass now, it is different. If we just call the parent direct here, then we start to do our nesting of the different child elements now where they inside this parent. And one thing I think you need to understand why you do this thing, you say you try as much as possible and make you know they create a whole lot of nesting. That's why I break this in there. If not, I for physical come and just say pose the row, since row na child of wrapper, then I call the pose the column now, since column na child of row. I for do something like that, but if I don't understand, I don't get something like a pyramid. So on rare occasions now, you can see me do something like this, and that maybe another thing can true, because by the end of the day now, by the time when I start to come back or they observe the old code, they refactor some of all these things that I'll call start to when they say, okay, we'll not need this to nest now, break them down, you get, so we'll see revise the code. But anyhow, for now, try to make sure so you keep your nesting as clean as possible. So now we'll create this block. Inside the block now, we'll get this wrapper, we'll get this row, and we'll get this column now, which all of them are the nest inside this block. If we go back to our markup, we get H2 elements here, right? Then we'll get this group and we get this title. Sorry, this paragraph. What if we do? If we know so okay, now just this single title now go be inside this particular block here now. We know come here because we won't create on that title. We not even need to nest title for inside colon again. If we just come here now, we'll just target title. You get. If we target the title now, what will we do now? We say we want the color of the title now to be this primary. What will we do? Since this primary now will be general color for everything, now just say okay, make the color for the block first be $primary. So instead of it to just target the primary on the own, unless I really want the color to be very, very specific. You get. So I don't target the block, then access the color to primary. And watch where this in the compile. If we go back to main.css now, you see and say block now, the color now don't compile here for me. So you see how the thing they work well. So the title, I'll just set the font size of the title to be like I'm not gonna use rem or m because then I just simple course. I'll just say 45 pixels since we want the title to be very big. You get. So it happen. Block.title. It don't compile for me here. And if I go back to my code now, you see I say it is big here as well. So I'm gonna just shift this and come middle so that we will get more breathing space. So what we want to do, we need to like add padding, then we'll add margin and we go set a width. And after we set the width, now we'll center and for the middle here. So what we will do, we'll target the, let's see, the block or the wrapper. We'll target the wrapper. So we'll set the max width of, let me see, we'll say 600 pixel. Then margin auto. If I create a normal website template, some other factors will affect this and some other codes will come here. But for now, this should be okay. Then we need to push this and come down. So if we add margin for the top here, because we just want to take this down. So this is maybe the margin top. Ideally, not even margin top, so we're supposed to use padding, right? So this is maybe the padding top. Well, it depends on the design. If it's margin, if it's padding. But margin is padding. Maybe the padding to be 150 pixel. Okay, we'll push them down. Then I still want this thing to be tiny. So my chance to like 450. Okay, the Sass way of doing things. So now for this our font size now, we will target the font width. We'll target the font width and we'll set the font width to 6 or 700. Okay. Then we'll just say text transform to capitalize for the title. And also if we target again for here, we'll target the group. So for this group now, we feel nest again for inside here now. So the group now will get this anchor tag now, which is the author and the date. So I'll target author. Then I'll target date. So say we want the author, make the color be orange. So we want the color to be orange. And for the dates, we want the color to be gray. All right. We'll go back and see. So it affects. So we'll space this author and the date now out from the content and the heading. So to do that, we'll target the group for the top here. Then we'll just set margin. So the margin now, if you put the two values, we'll say make the top and bottom now be 20 pixels, while the left and the right now may remain for 0. And if you see the compilation, I see all these things now that they compile for us. And you see how easy it's in there because of the way we nest. So see, as we write group here now, but see this place now, I don't write group like 3 times. So if we just say block.group, put margin, then block group author, put color, block group date, put color again. So you see the way the thing be now, we just get to write the group once. Then inside now we'll put the author inside. It's just like the way we get HTML here now. After we mark up, say we put this div of group now, we put two sheets inside, the anchor tag and the span. You see the same thing that up for here now. We create this, we call this group class now. Then we put the sheet inside now, which is the author and the date. And if you just come and say, okay, every single style that affects group now, if you just mark them up, then the one go if you just target on the as styles, then the ones that go affect the author, if you add them here, the ones that go affect the date now, if you add them. So you see how Sass now they make things they easier for you as the developer now, where the mark, where the style and create this design or templates rather. So more check at what we do so far. So we'll just space this thing. And that's what we do. Just to make this thing look nice. Just to make it look nice. We go remove the underline here. Then we'll make this in a bold. Right? We'll go remove the underline and make it in a bold. So now the author now, I'll just say text decoration. Make it be none. Then we want the font weight to be 600 so that this sharper a bit. All right, enough final. Well, but at least you get the gist now. You see what they try to do. Then another thing what we'll even do again, is more space. In fact, make we turn this one now to my increase this thing. Let's only see how because my screen is very, very big. More make this particular data italic, then more shift and way down to the end here. You get make it italic, then we'll shift and way down to the end. So for us to do that now, we'll come the group now, then we'll set display to flex. Then we'll go align items to center, then justify content to space between, right? Then for the dates, text decoration. Okay? Text decoration italic. I'm not called the. That's how I use this thing now. Italic. Well, if it not work, I go use this into my brain just skip or this thing. If it not work, I'll go. In fact, let's check out. I'm very sure. Okay, not work. We'll see. Okay. Oh, font style. Italic, can you imagine? So font style italic. I think I see my brain skip last night because it's not early morning. I need to sleep. But yeah, if I sleep now, I go tidy now first. So we'll come here now, font style. We'll set that to italic. All right. So now, you see the way this nesting will work, and you see how we don't make our code now look a little bit interesting. You see how don't make our code look a little bit interesting. We get this blog. If you click on this thing, carry us go the very at least it try. You find person Ireland. So what will we do next with Sass now? You get one important part of Sass again, using the Sass ampersand. Ampersand now be that and symbol now, which is this and symbol. You see this symbol right here now, so that be ampersand. So this ampersand I did very, very powerful because we've used it to do a whole lot of stuff here for inside Sass. My just now one quick way. One table I say I for like do for inside this particular designer, I want add just dash for this place now, like must see just one line dash we go do the middle here, like hyphen. So what type of it do, right? So what type of it do, I will say mark come this place now, then I'll just put it dash and it go work. But I don't want to do one here just because of say I want to show now one use of Sass ampersand now. You know how to add pseudo elements, right? Now they add those pseudo elements or pseudo class rather. I'll come the date here. If say na CSS, the normal vanilla CSS, don't overdo something like say okay, date, then after. You see, date after, then we'll write all the code on write. But if you want to do something like this for Sass now, what you go do now, just after this your italic now, you go nest that in. Now to nest down now, you first put your ampersand, then you put your double colon, then put the after. You see, so like this now, the thing will compile down to the normal web letter type just some seconds ago here. So without just I'll put content, just markup sorry, why they always got the markup, just style them. I'll put content, then the content now put the dash here, right? Hopefully this is show, but likely not going to show. Then I need to write other codes. Okay, there. Okay, this after, so I won't use before, so that I can put on for the other side. So yeah. So we use before, so I say it all come out here. So if we go inspect with it, it compile for us, and you say exactly to our talk now happen. It compile out. So then I want use of the ampersand. Another use again now. Just imagine saying okay, our our blog posts, we need a button, like a read more button. So if so, we get different blog articles for that place, that we could need a button now to click to enter the main content. So what we do, we just come down here, we'll just type button.btn, we'll give them this, and read more. Okay, so for the read more button, we'll come back, then we'll target it inside the group. Nope, outside the group. We'll not target paragraph yet, therefore. The paragraph is not looking bad now. Or if you just say, okay, we'll just do something like this paragraph. We want the font size to be 14 pixel. Then line height to be like 14 pixels as well. Let's see what we'll get. Even affect us. Affect or no? Increase line height to like 19. Okay. So line height to like 19 pixel. All right. So let's see here. I see the color for the block now. See the affector as well. So we will see add a margin button to the paragraph now, just to space and match on the button. So I just say margin button to be like 20 pixel. And see the compilation. They actually happen here as well, and the codes it reflects as well here. So most style this button. So to style the button, I'll target BTN, and for the BTN, we go do border to be none, background maybe orange, or you know what, maybe the background be this primary color, right? Then make the color itself now be white, or maybe we'll do off-white. No, you see, I want to use this off-white now, so I'll just create a for your own variable now, off-white. Then I just need to call the variable name here. So that way, every variable I give off-white now, they are changing this variable now to something different now, to a maybe different type of off-white color again now. It could just reflect everywhere, like I explained initially. So now I will place this off-white here, and if we inspect, we get this. Then we want the text transform to be capitalized. Then padding, I'll do something like 8 pixel for the top and the bottom, and the left and the right now will be like 14 pixel. We'll see whether I find like that. Okay, this looks good. Then when we hover, we want the cursor to get pointer like this. So when we hover, it could get pointer just to give our audience, okay, if you click this thing, you get. And we'll make a fine again. If you just put border radius like 4 pixels just to give that curved edge. Now if we will change the font size to like 12 pixel, it work fine like this. Then font weight So 500 or 600. No, I'm gonna leave the font weight default. So I just copy this part of the code and I'll go paste on my CSS here. All right, so now another use of the ampersand, now, just the way we reference this as pseudo element here now, we fit do the same thing now for hover effects. So this is okay. Once we call the ampersand now, put the column, no, one column for hover. Once we put the column for the hover, what we want to do, we want change the background color. Since we use background here, not color, we're not going to use color, so we'll just use background. We want to change the background to orange, right? Then we'll just do small transitions. So say transition background 150 milliseconds easing out. So we'll give us that smooth feel while we hover our mouse for inside this thing. So let's see. You see how? And when we hover now, I want this white now, make the color change to this other stuff here. So what do we do? We just target the color, then make the color be primary. All right. You see how? Since we target only the background, this color they misbehave. So instead of background, I'm going to just put all. So we target everything ready inside the hover block here. Okay. Now it's looking good. Pretty good. All right. So now you see how this ampersand now the very, 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 very important and interesting. You see how? So the help us that if they call all these pseudo elements now, pseudo classes. They mix the name, you get the gist. So another important use of this ampersand again to modify classes. Now imagine a scenario where like say we get because now we just get one button here now. So imagine a scenario where like say we get like two classes here, and not just for button alone. If you have for that classes, right? If we just come this place, say maybe the class here, if we say the block could be header, then or more just the block could be blog listing. You see, three different classes. You get three different classes. The same thing. If we come in and say, okay, we want this button to be primary. You see, we want the button to be primary. So, what will we do for the primary? We say, okay, once this button are primary, we want, or you know what? Maybe Scss, because it would be much more better to use Scss. Explain this thing. So once this button has Scss now, we want the color to be green. That is the background color, maybe green. If the button has Scss button. So by default, our background here now black. So if this thing has Scss now, what will we do? If we use the ampersand now, we'll come down, right? Not even well after before the over. We just say before the over, just put the and. You see, if we put the and, then we will just type the class here. So if you just say and primary, you just say and primary. So we'll do and primary now. We'll change the background color to green. If we put this inside variable, but just to explain this particular stuff now, just bear with me why I did one like this. So if we put the background color as green, I'll just say background as green. See? So by the time we go back, let's see. Okay, Scss, not primary. Can you imagine? So by the time we go back now, the color does change to green. You see, the same thing. So if it's okay, if not the Scss now, if not error, If an error, we just duplicate it quickly. We want the background to be red. You should see it all red, it all kogi there. Okay. You see? So we use this ampersand to modify classes. You get so these are different options now. If you go along with the initial btn already here. So if you just okay, we'll get how many buttons now? We'll get 2 buttons. Read more, then we'll get delete, right? Read more, delete. If you just group this info inside add the color now. We'll just put for div column btn group, right? And inside this btn group, we'll get this delete, we'll get read more. So read more will be the normal btn, not get any single thing there now. But the delete now will be the error button here. So, well, honestly, designers, they feel verse for this one a little bit. Not my feed be that. So we'll target this btn group, right? We'll target the btn group, then wait till we do. If you just come inside, we need to nest btn group. We already do flex for somewhere here before, so I'll just copy all these codes and we'll go paste them here. And when we paste them, we'll go back. We see we'll get delete. We'll get read more. So the over look very, very crazy. But you get the gist of it with the changing now. So we'll get read more button, then we'll get the delete button here. So what next? What do we do with Sass again? And that's what we do. We fit do something called mixins. What about mixins? We fit use mixins for inside SCSS. Within mixins, they do be say mixins now like a block of code now where they reusable, right? So mixins now like a block of code now where they reusable. Now, if you see this particular CSS code, so they write the constants now, you go notice say I duplicate this, which is this flex center space between for this display, and I still get them here again too. So this is a very good way for us to use mixins. When you see and say, okay, you don't duplicate some certain type of codes, right? Then are where if you use mixins. So without just around here, I create my variable. Originally, you're supposed to create these things for their own file. I'll just show all these things maybe towards the end of this particular video, how to create their own files and post them for inside their own files like that. So what we'll do, just after these variables now, if you just come in and see at mixin, you see I'm at mixin, then I'll type flex. At mixin, then we'll type flex. So inside this flex now, we'll just copy this code. Or man over copy, man of cut, man copy them. Or copy this code, then I go paste them here. Copy this code or paste them here. And if you say that I put mixin, make sure say this as this. So you know if you just type mixin like this, you need to put this at now, so that Sass can also okay, you try to create a mixin code or a mixin block or whatever. So you create a mixin, then you give it a name, then you put these brackets. I won't call it curly brace just now. I just try hard not to call it curly brace. You put this bracket, then you open your curly brace, and you add the code where like say could be reusable. Now, when we do one like this now, if you just come back to here where we copy from, you see also can we include the missing. And to include the missing, I will see call the same at again. I will type include, then we'll just put flex. Include, we'll put flex. You see, if we come back to our main.scss now, You see, I say, where yourself inside the group, we'll find out. Where you? See, I say the code now is still they show up here, and if we go our site, nothing will break. So since this day reusable now, if we just copy this same flex like this now, then we'll come down to this button group now, then we'll paste them. We'll paste them, we are good to go. The thing will just compile and we will see get the same result. Another thing again is say where flex they much more powerful now, like you fit pass arguments now to all these particular values where this for yourself. Passing argument meaning you go fit modify how you want that mixing to come out, because now we just they bank on this particular code. What if maybe tomorrow we come say, okay, we don't want this flex item now to be centered, we want maybe flex start, we don't want justify content to be space between, we want make it be like a space around or something. Then are where arguments say they come in hand now with mixing, and they make mixing the day much more better and much more stronger. So to do that stuff now, what we'll do now inside this bracket now, we'll just say and they like to give the name and make the name this similar to witty at the try target. So for here now, just okay, what type of flex do you want? Then just the way you create the variables for up here, the same thing. So create this variable flex, right? Then the next thing, align or put comma. Then the next thing could be justify. You see, so 3 items where they go inside this block now: flex, align, justify. Then I go replace this flex now with the flex right there now as a value. I go replace this align with center for here, and I go replace this justify with space between for this place here. And the minute I do that, we'll get issue. We'll get issue because would they include the flex, but will not they call the values what we want may they reflect for inside this mixing code here now. So to do that, we'll just come here now. Then quickly we'll just put our brackets. Then we'll start to give the values. So the first thing I'll display now. So display will be flex. So if you use flex, or if you say inline flex, then the next thing now, which is aligned, and VS Code said they will give us neat way for us to see, okay, the type of values, so that just in case you get a whole lot of values where you need to fill in here now, you don't got to go up, they come down, they check different files. It's okay, what be the next one? You just quickly. So get flex, then the align now, we want the align to be align items. Then we want this next one to be justify. No, not justify. Space between for the justify. All right. So now, hopefully, this thing compiles. Okay, we'll go on that flex or somewhere. We'll just copy this thing. And we'll paste them here. Okay, now it don't work. So now, if you notice now, space between and space between, what will we do just to make sure say, okay, would they use the same mixing, but would they give different values, right? So for this one where the button there now, so what I go do, I go say maybe the space between that and make it be center. And hopefully this works. Yep, it works. Center. And if say maybe I want to just give this one gap now, I'll just come down here, then just type my gap to like 20 pixel. I will not give the gap. You see how? So would they use the same flex mixing here? Would they use the same flex mixing here, but would they give different values, right? Would they give different values? So down for mixing, and you're going to see them a lot for my tutorials, and hopefully as we learn those, as I create more content out, as I use Sass, you're going to learn new things, because wait, I not cover for these videos I talk, I will cover them for all those other videos. But for you to get the understanding of how did they use Sass, you need to actually watch this video so that you will grab them well. Then another thing again, we can use inheritance for Sass. Now, inheritance, they more like mixing, but the difference is with inheritance, now you know if you actually modify some of all these how do they call it, some of all these codes. Then might just give you an example. If you inherit all these codes now different inside this paragraph now, and the thing will affect the in fact might not attack that stuff, or they might just come here just after the button group. They might just put horizontal row. Then I just decide between using a span. More just a span. So span inheritance or inherited. Or more just a span. So no, we need to give a class. I just target as a span description. Since I don't feel come up with name, I made a suggest for me. So span description, and I'll just type double out. Meanwhile, they watch the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the push ministry they go, you get it. Not easy. If you want more content, subscribe so that they get motivated to track more content on my free time like this. So anyway, Sha, more continue. And I appreciate you for watching this video. Are you try pass? So we want inherit the style already inside this heading now for inside this double slash, just to show you a quick overview of this inheritance what I talk about now. So I'll just now come out to my code here, then inside the CSS, the SSS file now, just after my collapse this thing, just after the btn now, we'll target the description, then we will use the extend keyword. So I just will add extend. Then the class will be like someone extend now, which is this title now. I'll just come here, I'll just type title. So yeah, that's my semicolon. So now I save here. If you come to main.cs now, you see and say the editor, the browser, you see and say it actually extend the styling codes now will be like say they affect this heading where they, and if you do that do now they should say dot block the title, dot block the description. So more fine, I'm going to somewhere at the top here, you see. So dot block the title, then dot block dot description now, all of them now they collect the same stuff. So another way where if you do this thing, instead of it to just extend this title, if you do something like this, if you say okay, just for the top here now, if you just come down after the mixing, if you just type something like we use percent, I'll just say header style. So this header style now, I'll copy what it is inside the title, right? And I'll paste them inside here. Paste them inside here. Then instead of me to use this thing now to write the codes here, I just want me to put at extend header style. You see, I'll copy the same thing. I'll go paste that for down here too. At extend header style. And it's a very neat way for us to extend a particular code now, make it reusable now for different blocks. And if you look at now, nothing will break now. It's still continue with the design. So this video set double log will not pass 1 hour, but at least I believe say by now you could not grab a lot of things about Sass. And just like I talk when this video start now the way I go use Sass for my project now they explain for you now. So it go dey different for some people, and the Sass not just even dey limited to what I don't explain for the past 1 hour now. It did a lot more advanced things like functions they happen, so many crazy stuff they happen with that Sass. But for the main time, then I waiting I go need to explain for now. Then before we end this video, I want to explain one more stuff again, which is using the import keyword and to structure our folder and our files. Because if you look this whole thing now, we'll just get everything in one file, and the whole thing that the cluttered one kind. They get mixing, we get styles, we get variables, all of this in one file. Waiting I go to do from now and so of most of my project now, I go try to like structure my CSS now for different files. At the end of the day now, we'll go color for inside a single main.scss. So what I go do here, I'll create a folder here. I'll just call them utility or utils, right? So inside this utils now, see this reset.css now, we'll carry on, we'll put it inside here, move. Then I go rename them to SCSS. You know, say normally before now CSS code it could work, so it not really change anything. And by the way, this reset.css now from Eric Mayer reset to I'll leave the link to the reset to inside the description of this video as well too. So we'll get utils. Another thing I say we'll put here now, we'll create a new file now for Mixins. So if you want to create all these Mixins files now, what you need to do, you need to make sure say they put underscore now to name, and not be say it mean like that, but not just the naming convention. You get, so just put underscore mixins.scss. Then that thing again, if we put we need to create for variable, yeah, we need to create a variable, so just put underscore variable.scss. Also, since we mostly put underscore just to make everything the uniform. So we'll get mixing, we'll get reset, we'll get variable. In fact, maybe variables. So we'll get variables, then what else? For the inheritance blocks now, for these codes, we'll not put up inside mixing. What we'll do here, we'll create a new file, we'll call the file if we call them contents, or if we say partials, how do you rename this thing? New file. Partials. So partials .scss. Okay, so now inside this partials.scss now here I go carry this header style icon. I'll place them here. Then all these variables will paste them for inside the variables of SCSS. Why? For the mixing, because we might get more than one mixing, we'll paste them for inside this mixing.scss, and we'll save all of them. You get, we'll save all of them. Now we'll go back to our browser. I see how things they break. Don't worry, we'll tidy everything just now. So now we'll create this file. And that's what I want to do again. I want to create another folder. So this folder, I'll call this folder let's say templates or blocks. Templates or blocks or template parts or something. But I'm just gonna have blocks for now. So inside this block now, I'll create a new file, and this new file we'll call container.scss. Still put the underscore for the starting. So this container.scss now go be responsible, or you know what? I'm gonna call a blog. We'll rename blog. So this blog.scss and I'm going to be responsible now for every styling now that affects blog here. You get, I'm going to be responsible for every styling that affects blogs. So we'll get this blog. So that I'll just do now, copy all the codes out and I'll paste them inside this blog here. Don't worry, you can understand the whole gist. I'm not saying the thing just cut away for your eye, but you can understand that. Then for inside this main.scss, you can say we'll get this body here. So this body now, if we create a new, I now made it partials, I now made it resets, I now made it. So if we just create a new file, we'll call this file global.scss. So this global.scss now, now here we go put this particular file. So other files will be like, if you come in, I feel like maybe a default style for button, just like, well, no worry, you will see for some other tutorials, but for now I just try to like create different files just to make things they more structured and ordered and orderly. Then I go use the import keyword that imports everything that inside this main.scss. You get. So first thing first, now what I go do, we'll target this global. We'll call this global. If it be any file, but as far as all of the things that is main.css, so this main.css now it will come like bus stop now for all the other files. Then our Sass now will call it compile all the imported files inside this place. So I'll come to this place, I'll just put at import. So one import file at import, then the URL to import now we'll see. We'll see that happen here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So one import the global first. Or reset. Might just import the reset first. So the reset now for inside utility, if I remember clearly. Okay. So I'll put ./utils/reset, just like that. Then put your semicolon for the ending. Then after we do this, if I compile this file, mostly the main.css, it's just not just the reset codes then not the you know the same thing again. Now the next step let's go see now, I'll duplicate now. I'll call the global. If you come back by now, okay, that is show error here. Let's see. Global.scss, so it'll be the error. Okay, off white. So it is see error here now because it try read off white, but it never figure out why, because we never import the variables. More import the variables. So I can import the variable file now. So variables, and hopefully we're not supposed to get issue. We'll still get issue. Let's see, utils. You know, I might import everything first. So import utils global, utils variables, then we'll import partials and mixins. Then we'll import blocks and blog. So blocks folder, then we'll import this blog. But still yet I see issue here. So what might be the issue? You know what? Maybe I think the file they come from this place. We'll comment this one out. We will look at later. So if you see everything now, everything don't compile, and if I go back, our code they come up proper, right? But why this thing give me issue? Global, let's see. Okay, we declared a variable before. Hopefully this should do the trick, and it does. So the issue be see this file now, so they read everything from top to bottom. So we go first reset, then we call the variables what we need, then before we call the other file. So this happen here, be see we actually they call this global file first now, then it call the inside global file and go try to compile this variable, but not the same. And why? Because it never reach where variable there. So we need to make sure so we take note of all these things. All right, so now we don't get our imports, and if you see I'm not every single thing at one place, so we not even need to call two files, and I'm going to delete this one, and we will see get exactly the same results from one file, but we get a whole lot of file going on here. So you see I say we'll get blog.scss, and every single thing we get to do with that blog block now, right? Go the happen for inside this blog.scss. So other things even inside CSS like functions and the rest, but we're not just going to the stuffs now. But if I need to explain for some of my videos, I can explain them. But anyhow, be sure we'll stop this video for you now because we don't do a whole lot of things. So you know the now, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I go see you now for the next tutorial.